Ladies, gentlemen, and slayers of all ages, hell has broken loose and it's time to rip and tear your way through Doom the Dark Ages. We have had early access to this game, thank you to the folks over at Bethesda for hooking us up, and so today I'm going to go over your starter guide to this game with everything from more general advice to specific recommendations of weapons that you can find early, and I found to be quite strong, that I think you should upgrade, and my thoughts on early upgrades in general in the game as well. First things first, if you are new to Doom as a franchise, it is all about aggression. You will take damage from your enemies, that's expected, and that's fine, because once you are hurt, killing an enemy will drop health on the ground for you to pick up and heal with. So the best defense in this game is a good offense. That said, even for those who aren't new to the series, you will have a few adjustments to make, because aside from offense, the next best defense is your shield, new to the Dark Ages. This shield can block most every attack, but if you block too many in a row, the shield will break and you won't be able to use it for a short period of time afterwards. What is generally more useful than just the standard blocking though, is that a well-timed block on any attack that has a green glow, called Hell Surge attacks, melee or projectile, will instead count as a parry. This will reflect the damage back to the enemy, meaning if it's a projectile, it straight up just pushes it back at them, and this is extremely important mechanically, even beyond the obvious of getting to fully block an attack without having it build up towards breaking your defenses, and getting to deal damage from the parry as well, because there are a lot of enemies that require you to parry something to deal with some aspect of them. And the sort of companion mechanic to this is perfect dodge, which mostly applies to the vehicular missions, as I'll call them here, where there are enemies that you'd have to do a specific perfectly timed dodge with to activate a specific mechanic that will help you defeat them. So the Dark Ages has a little bit of rhythm game in its DNA. Timing is very important, and learning to parry or dodge in the vehicle missions with good timing is generally going to be quite important to your success in this game long term. As far as combat itself, different enemies have different weaknesses. The game will tell you about them as you go, as you come across demons for the first time, or as you pick up new weapons that have these sort of counters, but it's important to show this idea proper respect if you want to show the demons some proper disrespect. By this, I mean use energy weapons against energy shields, use energy shields to heat up armor or shields faster, throw your shield at enemies that have these heated metal to cause explosions, use the shield charge against the enemies that have the green glow that will explode when you shield charge them, and just in general be willing to adapt in combat based on the enemy in front of you rather than being fully rigidly stuck in one method of gameplay, especially as there is a very cyclical loop to the gameplay. Obviously shooting guns is a big deal, this is Doom, but guns have ammo. If you hit an enemy with a melee attack, they will drop more ammo to stop you from running out. If you pick up ammo, you regain melee attack charges because your melee attack does have 3 charges in this game. If you parry an attack, you will recharge your melee charges faster as well, and if you use 3 melee strikes consecutively, which requires you to have all 3 charges filled, you do a full combo that outputs a fair bit of damage and creates a nice bit of ammo dropped on the floor, and it's worth noting this is ammo for all of your weapons at the same time. On top of that, a natural combo is the shield throw and the melee attacks. Throwing the shield at an enemy once you can will instantly execute any weaker demons. Anything stronger than that will get stunned for a couple of seconds while the shield is stuck inside of them and ripping into them. During that sort of stun, it is a great moment to go in and get your full melee combo, as you cannot block while you don't have your shield anyways. This is especially useful for the healthier, beefier demons that take a bit more killing, especially because pouring enough damage into them quickly will make them glow purple. And for mid-tier demons, this is an execute if you interact with them like this, letting you insta-kill them and create some bonus health orbs to pick up. For larger, beefier enemies than that, some will have multiple stages of this, and this is the same mechanic again, but instead it is called glory strikes, as they will disable attacks from the enemy's moveset by removing a part of the enemy like a body part, or if it's an enemy riding a dog, you'll get rid of the enemy and just be fighting the dog, and it will also do a chunk of damage. It won't kill the enemy outright if they are big enough, but it will make them drop health for you to pick up as well. Past that, let's get into a bit more specifics with the guns. An important note right out of the gate that I want people to know is that there are no hidden or missable guns inside of Doom the Dark Ages. So while there are secrets and collectibles pretty much in every level, you are not in danger of missing a full-on weapon if you choose not to explore completely. That said, relatively early on, you will gain access to upgrading, and it requires the same resources to upgrade your weapons as other parts of your character. Of course, I think you should go with whatever you think looks fun and you'll do absolutely fine, but if you are looking for a little bit of specific guidance, a little nudge in a direction of someone else's decision, the shield upgrades are really solid early on, in my opinion, especially until you get some slightly beefier guns to upgrade. The first shield upgrade makes it so a parry will essentially explode around you, causing a hard flinch on all nearby demons, which is quite strong. The second one makes it so energy shields that are hit by a shield throw will bounce it around the other enemies like full-on Captain America style. It's just absolutely glorious when it starts pinballing around from enemy to enemy when everything has energy shields. Then the third upgrade, which you can also get quite early, makes it just have longer range against fodder demons, so you just have more freedom of use with the shield in general. This pairs well with the first weapon that I'd like to recommend for this as well, which is the Impaler. This is your sniper type weapon, firing massive bolts one shot at a time. It has really high damage per shot, but a smaller hitbox than most weapons. Accuracy is required while using it, but if you can hit the shots, they do absolutely massive damage to whatever they hit. And while it isn't quite as good at managing with larger groups as something like a shotgun, of course, it can still pierce through enemies that are in the line of fire. And importantly, the shield works great for taking out groups of enemies too, just with the shield charge mechanic that you have by default. The first upgrade for this weapon makes it so hitting a demon with shield throw, shield charge, or successful parries all drop Impaler ammo, which is great because the weakest part of the Impaler is the actual amount of ammo that it can carry. Then the second upgrade, which you can get once you have 2 rubies, lets you choose between empowered shots after picking up ammo, which we can force frequently due to the upgrade, or the other option is the ability to slow down time and aim your shots with enhanced precision, which is just a really fun thing to be able to do. This weapon also pairs incredibly well with the super shotgun that you get a little bit later on in the story, but still quite early in the game. This weapon is, as it says, a super shotty. Lots of damage at close range with a pretty big spread. If you just swap back and forth between the super shotgun and the Impaler while using the shield as well and properly taking advantage of its different mechanics, you will have an absolutely fantastic time. That said, I mentioned rubies there because rubies are used for weapon upgrades. Another main resource for weapon upgrades is gold as well, the currency itself, and while weapons themselves are not missable in the game, there are optional rubies and optional piles of gold in the secret areas that you can just sort of absolutely walk past and miss, and of course if you do so you'll have less upgrades than you could, and you'll be weaker than you could be at that stage of the game. Pretty much every chapter in this game does have secrets, and pretty much every chapter is replayable. If you open the map when you're in the level, you can see how many secrets are in that chapter. The map will also give you symbols if there is a secret that you've gone near but didn't actually find, which gives you some pretty useful clues on where to look, and any place that is a point of no return has a very specific symbol put on it. So the developers did want to be absolutely sure they gave you every opportunity to find these secrets along the way as well, even on your first playthrough. Sometimes these are quite simple and obvious, like a big glowing symbol on a wall in a main area that you can just bust through and then find the secret right there. Sometimes they do require a little bit more thought or looking around and observing the environment, like breaking down a wall with your shield and then finding a valve that you can turn even though it doesn't even have an interact prompt unless you get up right close to it, and this will disable some flame jets that were otherwise blocking you off from entering a completely separate room. Other times it's just things like making sure to check behind a ledge or noticing climbable walls at the edge of areas and then checking them out, but for the most part this is worth engaging with. Sometimes you get collectibles like little toys or like skins for the weapons just for some cosmetics, sometimes you get gold or rubies for actual character power increasing, but the game makes it quite easy to just use your map and work out what's where, and you can decide whether that's worth it for you or not. Next up, another more general tip, and this is to do with the life life sigils. A good number of these secret areas that I just mentioned will also have life sigils inside of them. These are your 1-ups, your bonus life, your second chance. You can hold up to 3 of these at a time. If you would otherwise die, meaning your HP hits 0 for whatever reason, a pop-up will come on screen asking if you would like to use a life sigil. Saying no will return you to the last checkpoint to continue forwards. Saying yes will revive you on the spot and get you right back into combat. If you are like me, your natural impulse might be to hoard these, refusing to use a single one in case there's a really tough boss fight right around the corner that I'd want all 3 charges for. But the truth is, you can get these pretty frequently, lots of them per level, and so honestly, break that impulse that I just mentioned, start using these. My general recommendation is to try and keep 2 of them around just in case, but use your 3rd charge whenever you feel like it really if you die. After that, we have a setting I recommend considering in the actual options menu, which is in the UI settings under threat detector. One of the options for this is parryable only. What this will do is put an indicator on your screen if a parryable attack is coming at you from a direction that is not on your camera. This will help give you the time to turn the right direction and deal with it properly, and whether you want to use this setting or not is entirely up to you, but I thought it was a good idea to tell people that it exists. Finally, one more important note to tie everything together is these enemies. There are extra powerful demons that you can find while you play called leaders. These will have orbs around their head with either the health symbol, armor symbol, or ammo symbol, and killing these demons gives you a corresponding permanent character upgrade. The armor symbol increases your maximum armor capacity, the health symbol increases your maximum health capacity, and the ammo symbol increases your ammo capacity, usually only for 1 ammo type at a time. The first couple of these will be mandatory fights that are unmissable. They are part of the story, as the game is teaching you that they exist and that they are a mechanic. But as you progress further into the game, these enemies will become optional. They will be hidden off of the main path. They will be in optional areas, they will be in secret areas like the ones we talked about earlier, and you can see them on the map if you open it up if they exist. So these enemies are important. You can walk past them if you just focus on the actual objectives, but you should be able to know when they're around, and I think it's a good reason to pay attention to the map and the secrets as you continue through the game, because again, if you miss something like this, you'll just be fairly less powerful than the game expects you to be. That just about does it for today then, everyone. Your starter guide for Doom the Dark Ages, with a bunch of information that I hope is helpful for you as you start your journey with the game, as well as some personal recommendations for specific weapons and upgrades for your character to grab early on. But of course, in the end, this is a game that is about pure fun above all else, so do whatever you think looks enjoyable, but hopefully these tips can help you accomplish whatever it is that your goals are. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.